Hey everybody, it's Marie. Thank you so much for all these questions that you've been submitting for this Q&A. I'm really excited to finally be doing something like this with you guys. So let's get started. So I guess I'll just start with like the general questions that a lot of people have asked. A lot of you are wondering if I'm gonna be playing in your city soon. I just finished wrapping up a project. So that's kind of why I haven't been playing out as much. I'm really hoping to get a West Coast tour planned out, definitely sometime 2018. And then I would love to do a West Coast tour as well. I mean, West Coast and then East Coast. So hopefully all that will get planned out in the near future, but I'll definitely keep you updated on that. What am I listening to lately? I haven't really been listening to as much music as I'd like to be, but there are a couple songs that have really been inspiring to me. The first one is by this Japanese singer-songwriter artist named Sheena Ringo, and I believe this song is called STEM. At least that's what it's translated to. But it's so gorgeous. I love the lyrics and the instrumentation, the arrangement. It's just beautiful. The other song that has been really resonating with me is Dust to Dust from the Final Fantasy 13 soundtrack. It's just really, really pretty. So those are like my top two favorites right now. A lot of people have asked me what my favorite anime is, and I guess my top two favorites are Princess Jellyfish and Toradora, which I'm currently rewatching, and it's so cute. A lot of people have been wondering what my creative process is like. I usually start off with a guitar or piano or synth with some chords or sounds that I feel really inspired by, and then I'll start hearing like a melody and then some like gibberish vowel sounds to go with it until I can kind of form a lyric line, and then I just kind of start building around that. But it's definitely music driven versus lyrics driven. And I really like to get the structure or like a verse of it done as soon as possible, that I can go into Pro Tools and just like start producing, because I've always liked being able to add different sounds and instruments and background vocals while I'm writing in that headspace, just because I feel like I can understand the song that I'm making more and then be able to write lyrics or chords or melodies that fit into that vision more clearly than like just keeping it to one instrument until I'm done. You guys are also wondering where I get my inspiration. Usually it's music that I'm listening to, like those two songs that I mentioned. I also find it really inspiring while I'm working to have a very clear picture of what I want the song to feel like. So if like the song were to be an image or a movie or a memory or something, I just like to kind of live in that space as vividly as possible while I'm creating. So let's get into some fun ones. So Juliet is wondering, what's your guilty pleasure music? I have a lot. I definitely love having the Sims original soundtrack playing while I'm like washing dishes or cleaning the house. And lately I've been really loving the soundtracks to Virtual Villagers and Plant Tycoon. All the soundtracks for those games are like, I don't know, they put me in a really good place. So I've been having those playing like every day while I'm just around. Miel is asking, what's your favorite snack? I love snacks, I love snacking, but my favorite is saltines with almond butter and applesauce on top. I just really can't have them in the house though. I'll eat them all in like a day, which is not good. So Jake is wondering, how do you recharge yourself creatively? I find that if I'm not around people who are also creating and making cool stuff, that I just feel uninspired and blah. For me, it depends on what's making me feel creatively deflated. I love this book, The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. It's a workshop kind of book where like you do it weekly and there's different subjects for every week. It's basically all about understanding your creative energy and giving it what it needs. If I feel like I'm blocked or something, I'll often turn to like exercises in the book that can unpack why I might be feeling that way. And sometimes it's as simple as like just taking a break. So I highly recommend that book if that sounds interesting to you. Sarah asks, what was high school/college like for you? High school's fine. I mean, I always kind of struggled with social things just because I am super introverted, and I don't think people really understood that kind of person. And so that's kind of, I turned to music as my friend, I guess. It was like when I was feeling lonely or depressed or whatever, music was like the one sure thing that I could turn to that always made me feel valid and fulfilled. Also, book recommendations, definitely The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron and Quiet by Susan Cain. It's a book about introversion and all of the wonderful strengths that introverts possess that I feel sometimes aren't quite understood in this kind of extrovert ideal culture that we have in America, at least. It made me feel really proud of the fact that I am more introspective and I am introverted. So yeah, I highly recommend that book. Marco is asking, because I assume people will ask you many things in regards to music, I'll ask something more mundane. What's your favorite kind of pie and pizza? I guess my favorite kind of pie is apple pie, and my favorite kind of pizza toppings are mushrooms, red onion, and broccoli. Yeah, that sounds like a good pizza to me. Steven is wondering, have you ever considered voice acting? I have, kind of, but I'm a really bad actor. I don't know, I'd have to work really hard at it, but I would love to like be the female vocal for any Disney movie. Like that is such a big dream of mine. I'd love to go do that, so hopefully that could happen in my future. Carver asks, what is your greatest challenge as an artist? I think I often struggle with self-doubt. I think it's something that very few are immune to. I don't think I felt it as much when I was younger. Like when I was making my first 2 albums, I wasn't listening really to anyone but myself. But when I went to college and I started, or when I was just exposed to other people who were pursuing the same exact thing that I am, I just couldn't help but like compare myself to them and their work ethics, and it was hard to not feel inadequate in a lot of ways. I've been able to get over that, and I've learned that everybody works in different ways, and just because they spend X amount of hours and you don't on a certain thing, it doesn't mean that your art is any less valid. It's just everybody works differently, and you have to respect that and not hold that as a fault. Some of my most favorite things that I've created happened within a day, and others take a long time. So I think it's really important to have that perspective. We can often get wrapped up in like how other people are doing it and forget what really feels good for ourselves. So that's something that I constantly have to keep reminding myself while I'm working. He also is asking, how does being a multicultural American influence your music and identity? I think because I grew up in America and I didn't really visit Bulgaria or Taiwan very often when I was young, I don't really think of my culture like on a day-to-day basis. But when I think about the little things I had growing up, like when we would sit around the table and I'll have hot pot together or eat banitsa on New Year's, these are such special, fond like traditions that I have that I just feel so lucky and grateful that I have these cultures in my life, and I think it really connects me with my family and other people who have similar traditions. So I just feel really honored and proud to have that be a part of me. Vic is wondering, can you tell us about your veganism? I guess I've been vegan for maybe 1 to 2 years now. I had been dairy-free for a while before that, but the main reason why I chose to follow a plant-based diet was first for health reasons. I knew that eating a plant-based diet was a lot healthier, but on top of that, just learning about the environmental impact and the harm that it causes to animals, that has just made me stick with it. And I'm not like the perfect vegan though. Like if I go home and my dad makes like a traditional Taiwanese dinner, I'm gonna have a bite of that salmon. And I say this because I think the whole like all or nothing kind of mentality when it comes to food can be really toxic. And I just generally think that if you are making the effort to better yourself or the world, I think that's a really wonderful thing, and I just want to put that out there because no one's perfect. When did you decide to pursue music full-time? I mean, I always knew that I wanted to pursue music in some capacity. When I was younger, I thought that I would be a piano composer or something because I hadn't really found my voice yet. It wasn't until maybe like 5th grade when I saw this movie Glitter with Mariah Carey, and like I just fell in love with her and bought all of her albums and would just like listen to her runs over and over and over again and like try and mimic them until I finally felt like I kind of like unlocked this part of my voice that I never knew I had. And so for the first time in my life, being the shy, introverted girl at school, I felt like I needed to show people that I was more than that. And so I entered into my middle school talent show and I ended up winning for that year. And like that was like the reaffirming moment in my life where I was like, I need to pursue this 100%, because that feeling of sharing this part of me and having it be so well received and have people connect with it, it was nothing like I had ever experienced before, and I just knew that I really had to see this through. And so that's when I started posting on YouTube, and then just having your support, reading your comments. It's just been the most wonderful ride, and I really owe it to you guys for supporting me and being there from the very beginning, and I can't wait to see where it goes next. Well, that was a lot harder than I thought it would be. Still getting used to talking to a camera, but I'm just pretending that I'm talking to Paddington here. Oh, I never introduced him. This is Paddington. He is my little studio friend. But anyway, thank you so much for asking these questions. I can't believe I haven't done like a Q&A type thing. So I'm really happy to have the opportunity to do it now, and I'm really excited about the new material. I can't wait to show you guys. So thanks again for your endless support, and I hope you enjoyed hearing some of these answers. And yeah, okay, bye.